Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make another survival style house. Oh, and by the way, just in case you have any more building related needs, feel free to not only check out the description below of this video where I will be housing all of my tutorial playlists, but in the card system, I'll leave you guys some more specific videos that I think that you guys will get a kick out of. Moving on, if you want to make the actual house, here's what you're going to need. You will need some cobblestone and some oak wood planks. Then grab yourself some regular old oak wood. Then grab some cobblestone slabs, then some oak wood stairs, grab yourself some stone stairs, and finally guys, grab yourself some white stained glass pane, and I think that those are the only materials that we're going to be needing, or at least they're the only ones that I can remember. We might need some more stuff later on, but we'll just grab them as we need them. So, once you have each one of those materials right there, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. You're going to want to kick off your house with a row of 5 oak wood coming directly up from the ground. That's 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You then want to take this 5th block and go right of it by 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then take that 6th block and connect it all the way down to the ground, like that. Once you've done that, you then want to take this 6th block once again and go right of it, again by a further 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then connect that 6th block all the way down to the ground. Now one more time guys, you then want to take this 6th block and go right of it by 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then connect that 6th block all the way down to the ground, and what you'll end up with guys is kind of like a comb shape, like this. Now once you have your comb shape, this is what you want to do next. You want to take each one of these blocks that is connected to the ground by oak wood, and you want to take each one of those blocks and extend them coming towards you each by 6, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That went horribly wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we want to take each one of those 6 blocks, connect them together, and also connect them down to the ground as well. And I'd like to tell you guys that this looked like a nice 3D comb shape, but it doesn't. It kind of looks more like a Tetris shape, except there's no 3-block Tetris shape, so really it doesn't look like anything. It's an abomination. So, once you have this, which is on your screen right now, this is what you want to do next. So we now want to take the right hand side of the shape that we've made. We want to take these 2 right hand oak wood blocks that face us right now, and we want to extend them coming towards us each by 6. Not only do we want to do that once, we want to do that twice. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll connect them together and all the way down to the ground as well. So now we're just connecting them down to the ground. There we go. And we want to do that one more time, guys. Remember, one more time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then connect them together and also connect them down to the ground, as I said. So we just want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. Oh, and whilst we're here, guys, I think I can point this out now. The entrance to the house is right here. It's inside the front face of what we've just made, so it's designed to be right here on the end of the L shape, literally the last little section that you've made. That's the earliest point that I could have told you about that, unfortunately. So once you have your L shape, guys, this is what you want to do next. That's the base shape of the house. It's now time for us to build this thing up a bit. So as you look down on it, you'll notice that we have these 3 corner sections, these 3 corner squares. Well, we now want to take each one of these 3 squares and we want to add an additional layer on top of them, so we have 3 cubes sat on top of the base of our house. The way that we'll do that is by extending up the corner blocks. So we want to do that each by 5 on top of the corner block. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to guesstimate the rest of them so I don't have to count out 5 50 times. So we're just going to guess that out. That one is too short. We can fix that later. There we go. There we go. All of these are too short. I've been doing rows of 4. The first 3 are right though, so that's okay. We're just raising up each one of these rows that are associated with the 3 middle bits that we're going to extend up. And once you have all of your various rows of 5 like I do now, you then want to not only do you want to connect them together, but you also want to interconnect them as well. There's no real purpose to doing this other than the fact that it disturbs me if it's not done that way. I don't know why. I think I have some sort of mild form of OCD. So we're just connecting each one of these together very poorly. We're destroying more than we're building, but that's okay. You need to break a few eggs to make a... Is it an omelette or a cake? I don't know. What else do you make eggs out of? I've got no clue either. So we're just extending up these 3 middle blocks coming up, And what you'll want to end up with, guys, should look a little bit like this. And we've actually reached the point where we can also add the one and only balcony onto this house as well. So once you've reached this point right here, guys, you've got those three middle ones popping up out of the top of your house. You're also going to want to add the balcony. So you can see where we have this oak wood right here. Well, take this oak wood and extend it coming out in front of the house by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you should coincidentally be able to connect it to the front of the house like that, and also take that 6th block and connect it down. What we've essentially done there is we've just added another cubish section onto the house, and what that's going to be, like I've already mentioned, is going to be a balcony. So if you want to, you can also fill the top of this thing in with oak wood planks, which is how I designed it, and then you might also want to go all the way around it with your white stained glass pane, which is what I designed to go around the edge of the balcony. And also, there's two entrances out onto the balcony, as there usually are. How else are you going to get up there? We're going to just put two entrances, oak wood entrances, right there, and it'll end up looking a little something like that, which is perfect, guys. That is what we want to have so far, and there's not too much left to do with the actual framework of the house. So once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. You now want to take out your oak wood, come all the way to the back corner of the house, kind of like the corner block of the house. This is where the tower is going to be. So on top of each one of the four corners of this back part of the house, you're going to want to do this twice. You're going to want to go up on top of each one of the back corners by 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're just going to guess the others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. There we go. And there we go. And we can just connect them all together. And whilst we are doing this twice, the reason that I want the horizontal row of oak wood is because I think it looks good. But it's not really included for any structural reasons. It's just because I kind of like it looking like that. So that's 1. And we just have to do that one more time, don't we, guys? So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can feel myself losing my voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can just connect each one of those blocks together. Lost my flight there for just a second. That's okay. Spider-Man's not meant to fly anyway. So we're just connecting these all together. And we just want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. And that's perfect, guys. That is what we want to have so far, and that is roughly the framework of the house, except we're missing a couple of key components. So once you've got that bit taken care of, guys, the next order of business for us is going to outline where each one of the individual 5 roofs are going to go. So just to give you guys an idea, there's going to be one on the front entrance here, one just above it, there's going to be one on this left-hand side, the one just above it, and there's also going to be a roof right at the top of the tower. I bet that you guys thought that most of those were balconies. You'd be wrong, they're going to be roofs. Let me show you how this is going to lay out. Each one of them are the same except for the very top one. So, for the entrance, for example, we want to be on top of this second oak wood. We want to go up by 1, do 2 upper right diagonals, that's 1 and 2, then 2 bottom right diagonals, 1, 2, and then you just want to fill the center of this thing in like this. You want to do a white stained glass pane at the very center, and you want to do cobblestone going all the way around it. Now, like I said, not only do you want to do this just above the entrance, but you want to do the exact same thing just coming up here. So 1 oak wood, then 2 up right diagonals, then 2 bottom right diagonals, then cobblestone, 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 and glass. Then you want to do the exact same thing on the left hand side. So oak wood here, then 2 upper right diagonals, then 2 bottom right diagonals, then that's cobblestone, 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 and glass, and then you can fix where you made an error if you did that like me. Then we've got to do the exact same thing just above it here, so that'll be an oak here, 2 upper right diagonals, then followed by 2 bottom right diagonals, cobblestone, 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 glass in the center, and then that leaves this big tower one. So the big tower one, it's the exact same except there's 2 sides to the roof, since one half of the roof isn't like conjoined to the house. So from here, we just want to place an oak wood here on top, then top right diagonals, 1, 2, then 2 bottom right diagonals, then cobblestone going all the way around in here, then glass in the center. We then want to do oak wood here on the opposite side, basically just mirroring what we have on the opposite side, and then we just have cobblestone, 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 and glass in the center. And what we want to end up with, guys, should look a little bit like this, and this just outlines where each one of the individual roofs are supposed to go. Quite easy, it makes a lot of sense when you actually look at this thing. So, once you've got that taken care of, guys, this is what you're going to do next. It's now time for us to fill in the walls. We're now going to do the walls, and then we're going to do the roofs, and then we'll be done. I know, isn't this going along swimmingly? once you've reached this point right here, you now want to come to the very base of the house. The easiest way to explain what's going to happen next is we're going to take out our cobblestone, and we're going to go all the way around the base of our house with our cobblestone, and we're kind of just going to snake along the inside of the base of the house, and we just want to be one block inwards in relation to the actual oak wood frame. So we just want to go all the way around the outside or the inside of the house with our cobblestone, and it'll just end up looking like an L shape. So you just want to have something which should look a little bit like this. Now, not only do you want to do this at the very base of the house, but you also want to do it at the top of the base of the house, like this. So like 3 rows higher, you want to do the exact same thing. And what we're then going to do, guys, is we're going to sandwich some glass and some oak wood planks in between the cobblestones. So you guys will see what I'm talking about in just a moment, but we're just doing the 2 parallel layers of cobblestone to the ground floor of the house, and then we'll be adding some oak wood and then some glass. So we're just adding all of the cobblestone now. We're just busy doing the second layer. And something to mention as well, when you get to the entrance here, you just want it to connect at the top. So you just want it to conjoin, connect at the top, go over the entrance, and what it will end up looking like is something that should look exactly like this. Perfect. Now, what do you want to do next? You now want to take out your oak wood planks, and inside each one of these little mini rectangular squarish shapes that we have around the house, you want to do 2 lots of oak wood planks on the left and right hand sides inside of each one of the little rectangular shapes like that. And what we're also going to do later is we'll be filling those in with white stained glass pane. So you just want to go all the way around the base of the house, and you want to make sure that you have oak wood planks on the left, oak wood planks on the right, and then that will be perfect, guys. That is exactly what you want to have. So we're just doing oak wood planks everywhere, and then we will be adding our glass in there as well. So that'll look nice and tidy once we actually reach that point. So we're just doing this now. We've got oak wood there, and is there anywhere else to place the oak wood? No, that is perfect. So just to give you guys a bit of a view here, that is what you want to have. And then it's time for us to add the white stained glass paint. So I'm going to do this from the inside because I think it'll be a little bit easier, but it really doesn't matter how you do it. All that matters is that you add your white stained glass paint in between your oak wood planks, and that's pretty much it. You'll notice that in the inside of the house there's plenty of alcoves and stuff that you don't really have to fill in with anything. Like where you can see the oak, you don't really have to fill that in with anything. Now we've just got an additional layer to add here. Whoops, actually accidentally did it myself there, but we're just adding all of the white stained glass paint in, as you can see, and we're not having too much trouble despite the fact that I did misplace some earlier. But hey, what can you do? What can you do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we're just adding all of the white stained glass paint in, and I believe that we have actually finished for the ground floor of the house, and that is how it should look, guys. So all the way around the ground floor of the house, take my word for it, it'll look exactly like this. Now, not only do you want to do this to the ground floor of the house, but I think that you guys might have guessed it, we've got to do a very similar thing up on the second floor as well. So for the second floor, we literally do the exact same thing. No differentiation whatsoever. So we just go around the base with our cobblestone, and then we do the exact same thing to the top part of it. Then we do the... There we go, sorry, I just had to get around the entrance. Then we have to go around it with our oak wood, and then we have to go around it with our glass pane. So we're just currently adding all of this in. It's ever so slightly trickier on the second floor. Not only do you have less space, but you've also just got to watch out for the entrances for the ground floor one. The one like at the top of the framework is actually easier to add in. So we're just going all the way around the top now, and you guys can see that I'm trying to concentrate, and I'm not trying to misplace it. So you just want to have something which should look, just to give you guys a little bit of an outside view, a little bit like this. And then what we've got to do is add in our oak wood planks like this, just go all the way around, add in the oak wood planks, and then after that we can do the glass, and everything will be hunky-dory. Everything will look quite nice. Then we can move on to the tower, and then we will be pretty much done, won't we? So, oh, we've also got some on the insides of the entrances to add as well. Almost forgot about those, and it'll look exactly like this, guys, which is perfect. What you then want to do is just fill the center parts in with your glass pane, as we've already done before. You guys know what goes here. We add in some glass pane, and then everything will be just fine. So why don't we just add in that? We don't have any on that side, so we can now just do the top half, and we can just go the opposite way around. So once we've done this, we'll then be moving on to the tower. The tower is actually quite easy, but it is a little bit tricky to fill in just because there's a massive lack of space. That's the only problem with it. So you want to have something which should look exactly like this so far, guys. That's a ground floor, that's a second floor, and we just have the tower to do. So once you've reached this point right here, moving on to the tower. For the tower, it's kind of a similar deal, except we've just got cobblestone. There's no oak wood planks involved. It's just cobblestone going around the tower. That's all there is to it. So at the top and bottom of the two sections of the tower, it's just a layer of cobblestone, and then it's just glass everywhere else. So that's the top part. I actually skipped. I thought that I was actually on the middle part of the tower, or the bottom part of the tower. I was wrong. I was actually at the top. So I'm just going to add all of the cobblestone, and then I'm going to add the glass in afterwards. And the reason that I'm going to add the glass in afterwards is because I'm going to do it from the inside, and it's just going to be easier if I do like all of that in one go instead of trying to mix and match. So there we go. That is all of the cobblestone added. If you wanted to, you could definitely add some oak wood planks in the corners, but I don't know. I don't know why I didn't add them. Steve, I know you can get through 2 blocks. There we go. Wonderful. You haven't got fatter. I know you haven't. So the reason that I didn't add the oak wood planks, I don't know why exactly. I just decided not to. I kind of like how it looks now. You definitely could, and it definitely might even look better, especially to you, but it's all personal preference. I'm leaving them out, but if you wanted to, you could definitely add them in the corners, and you might like that better. Try it, see what happens. So we're now just adding the glass to the top portion of the tower now, and then after that we will actually be moving on to the roofs, and the roofs will be the last component of this. So what we want to have should look a little bit, let me just show you guys from the outside, what you want to have should look a little bit like this. So that is what you want to have, guys. It's looking pretty good so far. I know that it looks ever so slightly lackluster, but that's because we're lacking the roofs. We're about to add them now. So you guys know how these roofs are going to look. You guys know where these are going to be positioned. I'm sure I don't have to tell you. So why don't we move on to it? The only roof that's different, of course, is the top one, but I'm sure you'll figure out how that one's supposed to be done. So starting off with the entrance roof, you want to basically do this. The first layer of the roof is regular old cobblestone bricks, or stone stairs I should say. The regular old stone stairs for the first layer. The layer that overhangs is also going to be stone stairs. The middle part of the roof is going to be oak wood stairs, as you guys can see. And we're also going to have a layer of cobblestone slab that goes all the way from the end part of the roof and connects to the actual building itself like that. So the roof's going to look a little bit like this, and what we'll also be doing is adding upside down stone stairs underneath each one of the underhanging stairs like that. So it'll just look a little bit like this. That's obviously just like 1/2-ish of the roof done, and that should probably give you guys a good grasp of how you've got to do that. And what's irritating about this roof, guys, is you've got to connect it to the building, to the actual house, and it can be a little bit tricky like that. You just want to connect it like that. You've got to squeeze in that gap. I find it difficult. I think that Spider-Man's been eating too much stuff, and for whatever reason he just gets stuck in there. So we've got to do this roughly 5 times. You guys know that the 4 hardest parts of this are the ones that actually connect to the house, just because they're trickier, but then we've got the last easy one, which we have both sides to make, which will take us slightly longer, but at least we don't have to stuff ourselves into this gap like here, like some sort of contortionist. So, whoops, come on. It's really hard to get to place the right way here, but there we go. That is roof number 1, guys. You can see that that's exactly how it's laid out. Looks pretty good. Why don't we move on to the next one instead of lingering on here? So the next roof, just exactly the same. I don't really have to explain it to you guys. It's just stone stairs for the first layer, oak wood for the rest of it, like the middle bit, and the overhanging parts are just also stone stairs, including underhanging stone stairs and cobblestone slab right at the top of the roof, right at the center. So just remember all of that, guys, and you'll do just fine. So I guess this is the part where I don't really have anything tutorial related to talk about, but this is where I just let the old mind roam free. So I was thinking the other day, I was taking a bit of a look in an old world of mine. You guys have actually seen it. I actually featured it on the channel not that long ago, and it's not changed because it's an old world. It's actually called, if you guys want to check this for yourselves, Terrible World Tour. And this is like the second creative world that I ever made. Like, It's actually like my first creative world. The first world that I have made was a pixel art world. It had pretty much exclusively pixel art and statues, like it didn't have anything else in there. So I suppose that this world, the terrible world as I called it, I suppose it's like creative world number 1 really, and it's got a load of cool stuff in there. Like it has my Krusty Krab, it has my Nyan Cat house, it has a Simpsons house, it has the first like 6 or so houses that I ever made, and I don't know, it has a ballistic knife, it has a Halo energy sword, it has a jet in there, there's a tank, there's a flashbang, there's a claymore, there's loads of really cool things in that world. There's loads and loads of things. It's really cool. It's very diverse as well, which is really cool considering the fact that it was my first one. I think that's when I was kind of figuring out what sort of things that I really wanted to build after like building pixel art for so long. Like my very first like pixel art world, the very first world that I ever had was, like I said, just a complete pixel art world, and it had like 170 pieces in total of pixel art. I think it's literally like 175 plus. I can still see the thumbnail in my head. It's one that I literally just made in like Microsoft Paint, and I just wrote like, it's just got the background that I still use today, like the clear background, because I really like it, and it's just like written in there, it's like 175 plus pixel arts. That's right, I checked. And the world's actually really nicely laid out. You could probably find a world tour of that. I'm pretty sure you can actually, because it's definitely on YouTube, because I remember the thumbnail, and there's all of that pixel art, and each one of it's labeled as well, and there's like rows so you could walk around, and I think that there might even be a world download to it, which is not something that I do that often actually. So if you guys wanted to check that out, the pixel art world is still existing. But what I was thinking about more specifically with my creative world number 1, as we're calling it now, with all of the diverse and unique things that I have in there, was I remember a series of video that I used to do. And by the way, the second set of roofs, the one on like the middle portion of the house, they're supposed to connect at the center like that. And what I was thinking about was house roundups. I'm not sure if you guys actually remember this, but I used to do a series called like House Roundup, and I'd used to make 6 or so houses, and I'd used to poll you guys, like I'd show you each of them, kind of like a mini world tour, but just with like 6 or so houses, and I'd ask you guys like which one you like the most, and I'd ask you to vote. And what used to happen was like you guys, I'd label them like 1 to 6, so you guys would like you'd kind of like choose out your favorite in order, like it'd be 6, 3, 5, 4, 2, 1 or something like that, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'd be the order. And whichever house got the most votes, like let's say house number 6 got the most votes, that'd be the first house that would appear on the channel, like that'd be the first one that I'd make a tutorial for. And then the next most popular one, the next most popular one, I completely forgot about those until I revisited that old terrible world, as I call it, and I don't know, that was just a really cool video. It had me feeling nostalgic, which is not something that actually happens too often, and that's a weird thing, nostalgia, actually. I wonder what you guys will be feeling nostalgic about in the years to come. Like for me, apparently it's all the 90s stuff like it's supposed to be. Oh, and by the way, we've taken care of these 4 roofs. These have actually gone pretty quickly, and it's making the house look really cool. I really like how the roofs pull this house together. It looks really nice, and we've just got this big one at the top, but just thinking about that, like it's supposed to be 90s stuff. It's got, for me, apparently, like my generation, it's Pokemon, it's like Digimon, it's what else is there, like Yu-Gi-Oh, stuff like that. I don't know what it's supposed to be like music-wise and film-wise, because I wasn't really into it back then, but I just wonder like what's going to be held in high regard when you guys are like my age, at like the age of 20. I wonder if it will be like just Justin Bieber and Minecraft and Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. That'd be interesting. Or not interesting, it might be disinteresting, who knows. But you guys can see that all I'm doing now is I'm adding the stone stairs on the front and the back. Twerking's probably going to be a nostalgic thing. That's going to be sad. The age of 20, as was the generation that first discovered Miley Cyrus. Maybe that's what Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, twerking, and Nicki Minaj. Maybe that's what you guys will have. We'll have Pokemon, Digimon, and Rayman, the PlayStation, the Nintendo, all of that stuff, and you guys will have like the Nintendo Wii. Or the Nintendo Wii U, I guess, more specifically, like Nicki Minaj and Miley Cyrus. That, bad generation. Bad. Not really, I'm just talking. So we've actually just about finished this top roof. It wasn't too painful at all adding on these roofs. Kind of passed the time nice and quickly. So what you want to have, guys, once you've added all of the roofs and once the structure of the building has been largely complete, you want to end up with something that should look exactly like this. And it looks pretty nice, doesn't it, guys? Doesn't that look fantastic? It does. I love this thing. So what's going to happen now is, now that the actual main part of the building's been completed, all we have to do to turn this into my original version, which I have in my overworld, is add a garden and a little bit of an interior. But I'm not going to do this on recording, guys. I'm going to flip over to my original version and I'm going to show you guys how it can look if you invest a little bit of time into it. So the tutorial portion of this is over as the actual main structure of the building's complete, but I'll be back in just a second with the original version back in a mo. Alright guys, so as you might be able to tell, this is the original version of the house. It looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Not that much has changed, but it really does look a lot different to me. It looks fantastic. Let's take a look at this thing. We'll start with the interior. So there's not actually that much to say about the interior other than the fact that I've ripped up the floor, replaced it with cobblestone. The reason I chose cobblestone is because I also used it on the exterior for the path, so I wanted it to flow into the outside. Also lit this place up very nicely with torches. I only placed torches in the alcoves around the house, like in front of the oak wood, and I just wanted to hide them a little bit. They look pretty cool, but the whole downstairs is actually relatively roomy, and it does look very, very cool. We've got a wooden beam here. That's all there is to say about the downstairs floor. Let's move on to the second floor. So the second floor, there's actually a few choices in placement of staircase. If you wanted to place it here, or, you know, like here or here, you can really place the second floor staircase anywhere that you want. I just chose to place it right in this back corner as I usually do. So the second floor, as you can see, space is ever so slightly lacking. Same idea though with all of the torches and what have you, keeping it nice and light. But we can get onto the balcony, which is nice to look at. The views of all of the things, the Halloween house and Anatomy Steve and things like that. We can see this, and if we look that way, we see the outline of a squid and Starbucks. Oh, what a lovely world this is. And that's the second floor, and as you can see, you can actually see all the way up to the top of that tower. If you wanted to, you could place a staircase that wound all the way up and actually reach the top of that tower. It's not impossible. You could do it actually quite easily if you wanted to. I just chose not to. On the second floor, unlike with the first floor, I also decided to leave the roofy parts open. I decided to make it feel a little bit freer on the second floor, and instead of like putting a proper floor in, like I said, I decided to just leave it open. But on the first floor, if you come down here, you can see that I kind of like completely filled in the roofy parts, and that's just a decision that I made. You could leave them open, you could not. You could add more staircases in here. I just wanted to show you guys what sort of room you were dealing with and how light it is, and what it kind of just looks like from the inside. And that's probably about it, guys. That's probably all you need to know. So moving to the outside, what do we have here? So the first thing that you can obviously see, or the first thing that I did at least, was I added an L-shaped flower bed right in the front left-hand corner of the house. Looks very nice. Those are just roses, bit of water in the center, oak wood going all the way around, and of course those are just placed on grass blocks. Very, very easy, guys. So you can see where that's positioned. This bird's eye view is actually perfect for showing you that. Once you've got that taken care of, if you want to add it, the next thing that I did, if you want to follow what I did, was I then just added this path. So this path obviously starts at the entrance, either side of the entrance. We've just got some oak wood that snails all the way, snakes, not snails. It snakes all the way around the house. It just stays one block away around the house. We just have the oak wood that you can see, and then we have the cobblestone in between the oak wood, and then we have another layer of oak wood, and those are some jungle leaves on the outside. But if you want to keep it a little bit more survivally, you'd probably use some oak wood leaves, unless you live right next to a jungle, in which case you can use whatever you want. But that is pretty much the house, guys. It's very, very easy to construct, actually, and it looks really, really nice, if you ask me. I really, really like these survival houses. I do. I love them immensely. I don't like this any more or any less than my others. I love every single one of these things. So hopefully you guys like it as much as I do. Hopefully you managed to make it. And if you've done both of those things, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you could give this video a like, a favorite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing to help me out. I would just vastly appreciate it. Feel free to comment down below. What sort of house or whatever would you like to see next? I'd be interested to know. I'm definitely going to be doing a couple more survival houses, since I have quite a few more ideas in my head, as you see the framework for one over there. Feel free to check out the card system and the links below down in the description for not only my various tutorial playlists, but in the card system especially we'll have some more specific targeted videos. So once you have this house fully complete, if you've done all of those things, guys, I really appreciate the like, favorite, share. If you really wouldn't mind, I only make these things because of you and your suggestions. You guys have been loving the survival houses, so I've kept making them. So if you wouldn't mind, like, favorite, share, and I will see you guys in the next video.